Hey everyone, it's Justin here. Just finished up week 3 of 52 Kinds of Love, and I'm going to share how it went. Week 3 was dedicated to my buddy Brandon, and I had conveniently just talked with Brandon the day before I drew his name, so it worked out perfectly. There's a little CD of Nappy Roots on there, and the reason that I did that for Brandon was back when we played baseball together in the high school days. We always used to listen to Nappy Roots when we were going to our games to get ourselves pumped up. So I definitely listened to some Nappy Roots this week to get back in that spirit, and we hung out a lot this week. Brandon and I snowboarded together in high school as well, so we're currently thinking about setting up a snowboarding trip together. But on Monday, I went over to his place and had dinner there, and we talked about things that we did in high school, ridiculous stuff like yelling Jenga and Yahtzee after we answered questions correctly in calculus class, just because that was a thing that we did. Who knows? Met his new dog and hung out with his dog on Monday as well. On Tuesday, I stopped by and I dropped off a CD by Sons of the Sea, which is a new side project from Incubus, which was one of our favorite bands when we were in high school. And Brandon's like, "Oh, actually, I have something for you as well." And he brought out these books by Brandon Boyd, the singer of Incubus, and he's like, "You can go ahead and borrow these." Little did he know, these were actually on my Christmas list this year, and I did not get them. So it was just phenomenal timing on how this stuff works out. It's already blowing my mind how this project is working conveniently and awesomely. But the next night, I actually had a really busy night and had to go to a funeral and a hockey game for my students. And just a lot of stuff was going on. It was busy. It was midterms were happening. It was real late at night, and I was like, God, I don't know. We planned to hang out, and I was pretty exhausted. And then back in my head, I'm like, look, I said that I dedicate this week to Brandon, and that's a promise that I'm going to uphold. So it was like 10 o'clock, and we went over and we watched a movie. And I was like, forget it. Let's watch something that's going to enlighten us. Doesn't matter how long it is or how late I'm here. We watched The Book of Eli, which was a cool movie about faith with Denzel Washington and perseverance and desire and the will to do something that's important to you. And we started having some really good conversations throughout the week about those things. And a side note, Brandon loves movies, and he gave me a little project. I don't know if this is going to take the whole year for me, but he said these are some movies that are like classics that I have to watch. So he gave me a little bit of an assignment, which I'm excited to start tackling. I did watch one of them already, so I'm not a huge movie guy, but I'll adjust and I'll do that for Brandon. Then on Sunday we watched football together, and we made guacamole and chicken, and we had this really good conversation that continued from previous in the week, where we were talking about philosophy and science and sociology and psychology and how that all fits in our society, what kind of faith that we have, how religion plays a role, a lot of things. And I think what I really missed the most about Brandon in this time period where we hadn't hung out was how deep of a thinker he is, and he really pushes my creativity. He pushes how far my mind can think about things. It really does blow my mind to sit there and talk with him and see how deep that he goes. We always have conversations like this. We don't just hang out and talk about what we just did or what's on TV. We're always digging deeper into issues that are happening between people and our world. And I was really, really excited to have that conversation and those discussions back in my life. I think that sometimes we get caught up in trivial things, and this was while it did rack my brain a little bit to think about all these things, it was a relief. I love working out issues and talking about the best ways for people and societies and cultures to interact, and I really felt blessed to have Brandon back in my life not just this week, but I can tell that it's something that's going to stay put for a while. So, head on to week 4 of 52 Kinds of Love. I will dedicate this week to Christy G. And tune in next week to see why there's a little pair of underwear on there, and I'll tell you how it goes. All right, bye, peace. 52 Kinds of Love.